Hi everyone, this is Steve Johnson, and this is the fifth webinar for the Panama Buena Vista Union School District EdCamp. In the last webinar, in part 4, we ended with Google Forms. We were creating a Google form and going over the different types of questions you can ask someone through a form. So I'm going to go back to the Google form we were working on, and we had two questions. We had one where it was multiple choice, and you can see that this is multiple choice because of the radio buttons that are here. And then we had another one that was checkboxes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn what is your favorite subject and the answers from checkboxes to choose from a list. And you'll see that when I click done, that makes it so that instead of being able to just check on the boxes next to ELA, Math, Science, and History, that it is now going to be a drop-down menu. So I'm going to go to the View Live Form, and you can see that now when I click on it, ELA, Math, Science, and History show up instead of checkboxes next to them. So there's a lot that you can do with Google Forms. You can change the theme. So the default theme is pretty basic, and I did this by going to Change Theme right here. It's pretty basic. I can make it so that it has more of a, well, here we go. I have a beach theme right here, cars and trucks, cats. Let's leave it on the cats theme right now. And I can click on View Live Form, and you can see now that the cats are at the top. It has a different font or typography for practice form, and my two questions are still there. Now, if I want to send this form to someone, or share it with someone, it's very similar than docs and slides. I can go to the right-hand corner where it says Send Form. I can click on that, and I can share a link out, and this is how you would have people take the form. So I can click on this and click Control-C, and I can copy it, or I can make it a shorter URL. And now, by clicking on this box right here, now that it's a shorter URL, this is much easier to email out to a class or to colleagues. They can either type this into their web browser up here, or they can copy it and paste it into a web browser and go from there. Also, if you send it via email, it'll become a clickable link that they can click on to take the form. There's a lot of different ways to share forms, probably too many ways for me to go into right now. But these forms are what teachers are using across the district right now. Teachers, administrators, everyone, even students are creating forms and getting a lot of good data from them. If you do want to add collaborators with you on a form, you can click on the Add Collaborator down here. And I could, just like sharing a Google Doc or slideshow or a Google Drawing even with anyone, I could do the same thing with a form for collaborators. So I'm going to click Done. And that is Google Forms. Now, after Google Forms, there's something that I should probably go over with you guys, and that would be Google Sheets. Now, Google Sheets, and the icon looks like that. There's a Google Sheet that's created along with your Google form automatically. As soon as you create a Google form, like let's say this one right here, a Google Sheet is automatically generated. Let me go back to my Google Drive. So I created this practice form, and it is a Google form. When I double click on it, it is the form that I've been working on. Now I'm going to X out of that. I'm going to go back to my drive. This Google Sheet, you can tell that the icon right here is a little different. This Google Sheet is generated when I created the Google form. Whenever you create a form, a sheet is generated. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to click on the practice form, and you'll always have responses afterwards in parentheses, signifying that it's the responses to this practice form. So I'm going to click on it, and it is essentially a spreadsheet. All right, I have the timestamp of whenever someone, takes the form and hits submit. That timestamp will occur right here. Here's what is 1 + 1, username, it'll capture their username, and what is your favorite subject, that one question that I had on the form. So if I go back to the form, this practice form right here, and let's go ahead and view the live form. I'm going to submit it. So what's 1 + 1, 2. What's your favorite subject? I'll put math, and I'm going to click submit. All right, so I submitted information to this form. It tells me that your responses Your response has been recorded. I'm going to go back to the response sheet, and you can see that here is the information I just put into that form. It was captured automatically within this sheet. Here's the timestamp, the answer to what is 1 plus 1, my username, and my favorite subject. So you can see how this becomes very, very powerful. When you have a Google form that can put information into a spreadsheet, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of things you can do with that information, a lot of stuff you can do with the data that you receive. So again, there's a lot to go into with Google Forms and its connection to Sheets. There are many different add-ons that you can download. When you hear people talking about giving tests through Google Forms, it's typically they have an add-on called Flubaroo that they use that grades the responses from the students. Again, that's probably something that isn't within the scope of the training for EdCamp, but it's definitely something that you can ask questions about. The advanced section of EdCamp might go over that on one of the days for 3rd, 5th, or 6th grade teachers. So if that's something you want to learn about, the advanced portion of EdCamp would be the best bet for getting some instruction on that. Okay, so going through the rest of the EdCamp presentation, after Sheets and Google Forms, Google Chrome, which is the browser that Google created, is the next portion of EdCamp. I am right now in Google Chrome. This is a Google Chrome browser. Web browsers are just software applications for accessing resources on the web. Back in the 90s, Netscape was really popular. That might be an icon that you are familiar with. Internet Explorer really had a rise in the late 1990s, early 2000s. And then Apple created Safari. Mozilla Firefox came around, and Google Chrome is now one of the main browsers people use as well. So these browsers are used to some extent. If you have an Apple computer, you probably use Safari. Safari is probably the way you surf the web if you have an iPhone. At school, we usually use Chrome, Firefox, or Internet Explorer. Firefox is the one that you usually use for Synergy most likely. I find myself using Chrome the most for work. So that's what we're going to talk about now. We're going to talk about Chrome. So Chrome is great because you can customize the web browser. You can see that I have a lot of different links at the top of my web browser. I have extensions and apps that I download into the browser. It syncs with Google Apps for Education. It's really, really fast. It's private and secure. When you sign in, it syncs across your devices, which is great, especially if I use an Acer laptop a little bit during the day, and then I go to my desktop. The stuff that I'm working on can be found on both computers if I'm doing it through Chrome. To sign into Chrome, there is on this presentation, which is linked on Teachers Lounge. You can watch this YouTube video. It walks you through how to sign into Google Chrome. But I'll just quickly talk about how you do it right now. If you're on an Acer and you're not logged into Chrome, you're going to see up here in this upper right-hand corner, I'm going to go to present mode so you can see it. Right here, you'd click on that, and then once you click on that, you can have the option to sign into Chrome. You would click on Sign into Chrome. Once you log in with your Google Apps for Education account, you will show up. If you put your picture in Gmail, it'll show up. If not, it'll just say your name, and you are now logged into Google Chrome. So this is what happens when I log into Google Chrome. All my extensions show up, and now this device, this Acer desktop that you're looking at, has me signed into Google Chrome. So if you want, you can save passwords on Chrome, and this is how you would do it. You'd go to Settings, and Settings in Chrome is always the 3 bars right here. If I leave this presentation, you can see up in the right-hand corner, this is Settings. And then when you go to Settings, you'd go to Passwords and Forms, and you would check Offer to Save Your Web Passwords. If you wanted to save passwords, you check that. If you don't want devices to save students' passwords, you'd uncheck these, and then the devices would not save the students' usernames and passwords anymore, which in a lot of cases is good. You can create bookmarks within Google Chrome, and that's something that you can take a look at this PowerPoint whenever you want and figure that out. Bookmarks are great. You can bookmark in the Chrome menu. Tabs are really, really important. Tab management is a huge skill that teachers are teaching students these days. You can see going across the top of my browser, I have many different tabs that are open right now. I can move them around like this. I can X out, move it around again. I could pull it out, like this one here. I could pull it out and make another window. So I just pulled out a tab to create a new window, and I can X out of that if I want to, and then go back to my presentation right here. So moving tabs and being very aware of where your tabs are and having them in the order that you like is really important for workflow, and that's something that students are learning while using the Acers. Okay, in this presentation there's quite a lot of other information for the Chrome Web Store. There's information on how to access the Chrome Web Store. It's probably best for you to just kind of peruse this on your own and take a look at all the different things that are offered, apps, extensions, themes for Google Chrome. All you got to do is go to chrome.google.com/webstore, and you'll be able to download all of these things mostly for free. So it's definitely something to take a look at and peruse when you have time.